Good morning, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Hannah, and on this podcast, we talk about purity culture, sex, marriage, relationships, girly things. But today is not just a girly day. Today is a boy day. Oh, no. Okay, if you're still listening, if you decided not to turn off due to the toxic barking that just happened.
You gotta get some people on here with that dog in them.
No, we don't. I don't think anyone's going to listen to what we have to say after hearing your introduction. We have my husband today who, despite this attitude he has right now, is a great, loving, wonderful husband who I don't have to train anymore. So thank God for me for putting in the work over the past few years to create better men, and in turn will create better, our children will be better. So I'm just creating better men for the world because we are having 3 boys.
We are having 3 boys. There's going to be
crazy.
a whole bunch of them running around. It's going to be fantastic.
Boys do love their mom.
They love their mom.
They love their mom.
They love their mom. Tate asks for you all the time.
I heard him this morning, and I was like, don't worry, bub. Dad's coming.
Yeah.
He said, Dad's coming. Yeah. Don't you worry. I'm going to sleep for another hour.
Yep.
How are you doing? This is my husband, Thomas. If you're new listening, this is my husband.
Hi. I'm doing fantastic. It's been a long time since I've been on the podcast, I think.
I know.
I used to
forget that you have to talk faster.
I used to herald it as like I was the person that has been on here the most, which still might be true, but it's just been a while.
Yeah, I mean, having a child makes it really difficult to record episodes together. So
yes, but he is not just running around downstairs. He is at preschool. So
he is at preschool.
He's being attended to. We didn't just leave him with our dog.
We did not. Although he would be fine with that. Him and Theo are the best of friends. They play tug of war all day and
Theo's
have a grand time.
He's only got about 30 good minutes in him.
And then he's done.
He's gassed.
Yeah. Then he's done. Yeah. This morning, our sweet toddler prayed for my leg because I have a scar on my knee from where our dog broke my leg. And he said I needed a Band-Aid. Tate is all about my scar, and he says I need a Band-Aid.
And I'm like, to the doctor.
And going to the doctor. I'm like, I don't need a Band-Aid. I'm good, buddy. Like this, I said, the scar's going to be here forever. And he started to leave. And he said, wait, we need to pray for mommy. And he walked over and he put his hand on my scar, bent down, and prayed, closed his eyes and prayed for
30 seconds, 45
maybe
seconds?
a minute long.
Yeah.
I could hear him talking, but I don't know what he was saying. Like he was actually praying to the Lord.
Yeah.
It was very, very precious.
Well, and then when he walked away, he was walking back to me at the door, and he said, "We always pray for mommy."
We always pray for mommy. So sweet.
Yep.
So sweet. I mean, we pray for you too.
Yeah.
I just need a lot of prayer at the moment.
Yeah. Well, we pray for our whole family every night before bed, so he knows that. We always pray for mommy, and we always pray for the babies, and we pray for daddy, and we pray for our friends, and he's learning.
How are you? It's been a long time since you've been on the podcast. Give us some life updates. We'll talk specifically about the twins in a minute, but how are you doing? We also haven't talked, so how are you doing? How are you feeling? We need to go on a date, but we can do it here.
Yeah. We'll just record more podcasts, and that's how we can communicate with each other. I'm pretty sure in all of our premarital counseling, that's what they said. For better communication, one of you needs to start a podcast, and then you need to have your spouse on the podcast.
Yes.
Occasionally, not too much. You don't need to talk that much.
No.
But every now and then, just to get back on the same page, do it publicly in front of other people.
Right, that's the best way to handle a dispute.
Yeah. You guys will probably love to listen to the post podcast where we talk about all of the things we didn't like that the other person said.
All the things that you said wrong that I'm we got to cut that out. Because we never do that for me. I always say the right thing every time.
For sure. And I always remember to cut it out.
Every time.
I'm doing good this year. I mean, at work for my day job, I work at a church. And that changed a little bit this year where I got kind of a promotion, addition of responsibilities and things. So that has been fun to, build out a new team and a new set of things that are happening there. It's doing marketing and things like that for the church, which is stuff that I love and think about all of the time.
Yep.
At the same time, have I been on here since Racing Picks became a thing? I know you've talked about it.
I've talked about Racing Picks. No, but it was on my notes for you to talk about. So
okay,
talk about Racing Picks.
Yeah. So as Hannah has said, we are big Formula One fans. Huge Formula One fans. Tate loves Formula One. That's how much we watch it and talk about it. I joke around with some of our friends that potentially the most impactful TV show to come out in our lives, or one of the most impactful things I've ever done for our friends is decide to start watching Drive to Survive personally.
Truly, it changed our life.
It has changed our lives.
Yeah. And it's not just for the guys. Like Formula One is for the girls. Like I'm invested in the WAGs. I'm invested in the drivers. Like I mean, they're so opinionated and drama filled. You think that you're watching a bunch of like 20 girls driving.
Well, and if you watch the race on TV, they cut to all the wives at the most important time possible, and you even miss what's happening on the track. That's how much they show you the wives and girlfriends.
But it's important, so
it's not that important. Yeah. But this, like at the beginning of the race season this year, I wanted to kind of take our little inner friend group. We were doing this prediction thing where we would try to guess who was going to finish, who was going to win the race, or who was going to be the top 3 in the race. And we just did like old school spreadsheet. I was like calculating all of our little, like we created a point system on our own and was calculating it all myself and just keeping everybody updated. And I was like going into this year, hey, maybe there could be like a more robust, a more fun, a more automated way even to where I don't have to like sit down and look at this spreadsheet and reference against all these other things.
Right.
And I just got started like developing this website, like doing some coding and building out some things I didn't know how to do. Praise the Lord for ChatGPT. I mean, it's kind of crazy for all the things that ChatGPT, you know, things people don't like about it, things that I don't like about it. Like it's the only way that I would have been able to learn and figure out some of these some of these projects.
I'm very anti ChatGPT. I do use it for work sometimes, occasionally. I use it to help like organize some of my thoughts. Like if I have a lot of thoughts about something, I need it like organized that I can't quite figure out at the moment. I'll use it for that. But I don't think I use it every single day. I definitely use it like a couple times a week. But I am very anti-AI. We need to use our brains, people. Like,
so I thought this was interesting. I saw somebody the other day. They were talking about using AI to help you brainstorm, but asking it for ideas. Like, hey, I'm trying to make social content about this. Could you give me like a couple of like 5 ideas, whatever. And then making whatever ideas the AI gets you, you write down those as like the off-limit ideas. Yeah. And now you have to come up with 5 more ideas.
I saw that exact post.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
To help you, you know, the robots are good, but the robots are still not as smart as humans.
I did say that we're dumb. We're not dumb. Like my brain does not work these days because I am pregnant with twins. But I'm like remember when our parents were like terrified of the internet coming and thought that meant the world was like crashing down because the internet was coming. They were scared of it and everyone's like, no, it'll be good. I'm our parents. Like, I'm like, no, we don't need AI. And everyone's like, oh, it's going to be okay. But
I mean, there's some scary
No, it's
things.
a little more scary. I mean, it's a robot. Like lots of kids have, you know, done really horrible things to themselves because of what AI has told them to do. So I am very against it. But anyways, so you have created Racing Picks.
Yeah, it's a fully functioning platform website right now. People can create their own accounts.
And it's for NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One.
Those are the only 3 right now. There's
all of my NASCAR listeners.
Yeah, there's more people signed up for NASCAR than Formula One, which is kind of funny. But that's just the fan base here. You know, some of the people that we're friends with, the circles that we're in. We're in
North Carolina. That's a big.
Yeah, NASCAR, I mean NASCAR is here. Like this is the capital for NASCAR. So that's kind of one of the big things outside of my regular day job that I've been working on.
Yeah, it's cute because Tate will ask to watch Racing Picks, and he means he wants to watch the race, and he knows what race he wants to watch. He wants to watch when Oscar wrecked at Baku, and like he wants to watch that wreck, and he wants to watch him get up, and then he wants to watch Alex Albon spin around. Like he knows his drivers, he knows his racing, and
he has a car.
He has lots of cars
for him,
and but he wants to watch Racing Picks. He talks about it all the time, and he gets very upset if you don't put on the correct race that he wants to watch.
And we'll draw little like chalk racetracks for him outside. He'll like to race his cars around, and he'll recreate things on his chalk tracks that he's seen in the races.
Yeah.
And fun. I mean, you going to tease what he's going to be for Halloween?
Yes. Well, we don't really do Halloween. We go to our church.
We have a
thing at our church. But he is going to be a race car driver, so very excited about that.
Yeah, I was
very fitting.
I was thinking about our costume. I'm pitching an idea right now live. She's never heard before.
Because I need ideas. I got nothing.
Well, I'm thinking that we're trying to be. We usually do something together. Like last year, he was Mickey, and we dressed up as other characters.
Yep.
And then the year before that, he was a cow, and we dressed up as farmers.
Yep.
So I'm thinking, and you kind of mentioned this, but I have some headsets from when I've gone to a NASCAR race.
Right.
So we could wear headsets like we're part of the crew.
The pit crew.
And maybe we get I get a couple Racing Picks shirts made. And we grow like cool. We're the Racing Picks team.
I like that. Let's do it.
Yeah. So
if it's affordable.
Yeah.
Well,
of
I mean, the
course.
racing pics though will be used. For
Yeah,
other
it's not
things.
just an outfit. It would be like, I have shirts that are. Yeah.
I like that idea. Let's talk about the babies. So you
Let's
haven't
talk
been
about
on
it.
here since our lives were forever changed. I need to figure out what date like we went to the doctor and they said you're having twins.
Yeah.
So talk us through.
There are 2 babies.
Yes, I think about that statement. I'm not exaggerating. Every single day I think about that statement and hearing her and thank the Lord you were recording when she said that. But walk us through the moment we're like getting our ultrasound where I'm 8 weeks, which I do find out the babies are measuring 6.5 weeks at that point. But I was 8 weeks and we're like going in, and then they say like, oh, there's a heartbeat, but then there's like,
I mean, it was
or did she tell us there was a heartbeat first? No. The very first thing she said was that there's
2 babies. Yeah. Because I was recording. Well, I mean, at first it was a long day, anyways. Like it was in the morning, but we had to wait.
Yeah.
And we were already nervous because this is our first doctor's appointment since having a miscarriage. So we're just nervous. We've never been to this doctor before. Like everything is just taking longer. We finally get into a room. I start recording immediately because I'm trying to record a heartbeat.
Right.
But then it just keeps taking it wasn't even that we weren't seeing something. It just, even in the room, it kept taking so long.
Yeah.
And I'd stopped recording and thankfully I hit record again and I almost forgot about it. It was like, if you listen to the whole recording, it's like a minute of nothing.
Yeah.
The tech's not saying anything. We're not saying anything.
Right.
We're just waiting for something. And because of how early it was, we can't really make out what's going on on the screen.
Especially because they weren't 8-week babies at that point.
Right.
We thought they would be bigger because they were 8 weeks, but it was actually 6.5 weeks.
And then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, the text says, there are 2 babies. And we freak out. Well, you freak out. For people that have seen the post and heard the recording, you can hear my first thought.
Yeah.
My first thought is audibly, you just hear me go,
yeah.
I mean, I could not believe it. I think you've talked about this, that, I think we're thinking about twins when we're having our first kid, because it's like, wow, how crazy would that be for your first kid to be
And they
twins?
are in your family, and your grandma does not let us forget
No.
about all of the twins that are on her side of the family and your grandpa's side of the family.
But after having just one kid the first time, I mean, I would have never ever guessed.
So you didn't even go into either of those
appointments
thinking we could have twins.
No, it never crossed my mind. And I mean, I still don't think I have fully wrapped my head around it.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things for my job is this season right now is super busy. Like the fall all the way through Christmas is super busy. So I'm have a lot of things I have to work on and think about that's taking up my mental space, which probably helps me not be super anxious about it.
Right.
I think once Christmas is over, then it's probably going to be okay, what's this about to be like? But I mean, I've talked to some people. We know a lot of people that have twins. Yeah. So I've had the chance to sit down and talk with people and you've
been intentional about that,
try to get some ideas, some tips from people that have been through it. We've had so many people, family, friends already help us with some of the bigger things that you need for babies that we had one of because we have a kid already. But people have already been so kind to help us get a second set of things. Yeah. So thankfully, those are some of the things that probably would have been stressing me out. But I mean, friends and family provided, the Lord's provided already for the stuff that we need.
So in that moment too, when she said there are 2 babies and they're identical and there's heartbeats, I was freaking out and you said it's going to be okay though. Is that really how you felt, or were you just trying to calm me down? Because you immediately were it's going to be great. It's going to be okay. You immediately went to positive, which I feel usually it's opposite. Usually I feel I'm it's going to be okay when things are going wrong, but
I don't know. I mean, I think I meant that. I'm not worried about it. I think for me, it takes a lot of time to have a toddler. Yeah. So that's one of the things that I'm concerned with is just how do you have enough time? Honestly, I think the only thing that I am nervous about, just because I don't understand with our current situation how it's possible, is how we're going to put 3 kids to bed at the same time.
Yeah.
And somebody not wake somebody up. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Like, that's the only thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, if that's it, you know, we'll get in there.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
I mean, these days would take, it's like bath and bed. For me, it takes 30 minutes, but you're in there for hours. So I don't really know. I don't really know what to tell you at that point. Which, speaking of, you need to give Tate his bath before you leave for work tonight, because I cannot bathe him with this current in my life.
Oh,
and you didn't give him a bath last night.
Well,
I know. You have to go to church tonight. I already thought about it. He's getting a bath at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, yes.
Anyway. So now you're feeling good, though. You're excited. How do you feel about their names?
You haven't said their names.
I'm not saying their names, but how do you feel about their names?
I mean, I love their names.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I would say that
I
would say one of their names, there has been a hint for it in this episode, but we didn't like purposely give the hint, but there is a hint. You can link them from things we've already talked about.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I like both of the names. Have you said that they go together? Have you talked about that?
No, I mean the names go together. They start the same letter,
Okay,
but
yeah.
they do not sound the same. They don't rhyme. They have
No
very different
rhyming.
vibes, but they
Very
do have
different
the
vibes.
same letter.
But they already, you know, I think that from seeing the ultrasounds and everything so far, like we've already kind of can see that, yeah, they have the how we perceived the personalities from the names we picked.
Yeah.
That the babies are already kind of matching that. I'm glad you said that, because that reminded me the other thing that I think about this all the time, super concerned about, is like losing which one is which.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
I think everybody thinks I'm joking when I'm like, I will put a Sharpie marker on one of them. It's to me, that's not a joke. Like, I'm so nervous that we're gonna give them their names, and then something is gonna happen where I'm gonna lay them down in their cribs next to each other and forget who is on the left and who is on the right. And they're going to be in the same outfit or something.
Well,
one
when they're
day,
at home and we're hanging out with them, like, we'll always try to dress them differently. We need to like really lean into them wearing their hats with their names on them. Like, try to make that happen more.
But then what I'm also worried about is, like, as they get older, them like doing it on purpose and.
But at that point, we'll know though.
I know.
We'll know.
I agree with that. Like, the twins that I've interacted with in the past, at different times in our life, like, eventually I was able to figure it out.
And they'll have different personalities. Like, they will. You know, I think we'll be able to tell.
I know,
but I am nervous about it. I mean, surely one of them will have like, you know, a freckle on their ear or something.
But I think some of it is just like a little bit of my OCD of, you know, like, one day am I going to forget which one of my kids is which? And then is that going to stress me out for forever that I don't know who's who?
Totally. Happy OCD Awareness Month.
Happy. Thanks. What'd you get me?
I know. I didn't get you anything. I'm sorry. Would you like to talk about OCD Awareness Month?
Sure. I mean,
first off, thing for you.
First off, I learned that OCD Awareness Month was a thing last year. I saw somebody make, I think it was the organization called No CD or NOCD. I think it's supposed to be like a play on words, No CD. But yeah, I mean, it's cool that more people are talking about OCD. I was diagnosed with OCD in 2022, I believe. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool to hear people talk about it. The more you hear other people, especially, you know, some really famous people are talking about it now. People with a lot of following talking about it. I think the biggest one for me right now is Luke Combs has been talking about it. And he actually has the same type of OCD. There's different types of OCDs. We don't have to get into all of it. There's a lot. Look it up.
But I think it's important for you to talk about the kind you have, because I think people think OCD and they're like, oh, you have to have an organized home. You have to have a clean space. You have to like repeat the same number 3 times in a row. Like, that's not necessarily the kind of OCD you have.
So the kind of OCD that I have is called scrupulosity, and it's
pure OCD. I feel like those are interchangeable.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean, it's a newer thing that is being talked about more the more people have studied it. But it's basically like a moral OCD where you think about something or, you know, you think about actions that you've done and you compare them to some kind of moral compass. And you're like, that is kind of your struggle. Your obsession is trying to figure out, well, why is there this gap between like how I'm feeling, the things I think about, the things I've done, and the moral compass that I think is right. Yeah. And you just kind of, you know, it can be different things for different people. It can be.
And it's big on the rumination piece, right?
Yeah, you just think about stuff over and over again. And it's kind of like an active thing all the time, to where, you know, people that have this, they'll be going about their day from the outside. They look completely normal, but you're able to function to some degree you're able to still function, but then your brain is just running all the time, thinking about, obsessing about whatever the things you could have done. So yeah, it's cool that people are talking about it. With OCD specifically, I mean, it's, it's good that people are learning about the different types, because people will just say throwaway lines sometimes that don't actually have OCD when they're like, if they're just talking about being organized or something, they'll say, oh yeah, it's a little OCD. And it's like, no, it's like being organized, wanting to be organized does not mean you have OCD.
No.
That could be something that people struggle with, but it's not the same thing of like, OCD is not a characteristic.
I don't think they intentionally mean harm, but it is dismissive to those who deal with, like, what I have seen you go through with OCD has been like tumultuous. Like, it's been really hard.
Tough.
And so those like throwaway terms, it's just like, you do not understand how hard this has been, like, and so disruptive to your life, your day-to-day life, and our day-to-day life, and even with some of the recent stuff with it too. Like, it's just, it can be really disruptive. And like, I mean, not like a, oh, you're disruptive, but like, it's sad, like how much it like just like,
it can be hard
messes
sometimes.
up your life. And so it frustrates me when people just like throw away those comments, even though I don't think they're intentionally meaning any harm. But
and it's good that people are talking about it. On average, people go undiagnosed with OCD for 27 years. Like, that's the average how long people live with it before they find out they have it. And I was pretty close to that average. I mean, I think I was 28 when I was diagnosed with it. And it's a hard thing, but it's cool that people are talking about it, especially that, there's going to be a lot of highlights on it this month. So if you know somebody that has been diagnosed, or it's something you struggle with, or if you've, someone's been talking to you about maybe something you're looking into for yourself to see if that's something that you have and you're trying to get treatment, there's some good websites. NOCD.org, I believe, has a lot of good resources helping you find therapists that are specialized in it. If you have OCD, you need to go see a therapist that can actually has been trained for OCD, because it's a little bit different than regular therapy. But they'll be able to help you, and you can go do all the fun things that I've gone and done for the past 3 years to try to get better, not try to get better.
But it did help. The therapy helped you tremendously.
Yeah.
And so did the medicine, and now you're back
because
on
it's a different kind of therapy. So if you're trying to go to somebody that's just like talk therapy or cognitive therapy, then it's not going to help you, because the problem isn't talking about it. It's that you would love to talk. Most people with OCD, they would love to talk about it because it helps.
But you talk too much about it.
It helps your assurances in your brain. Like, that's what you're seeking, and then you become dependent on cognitive therapy. Where if you go see an ERP specialist, they will help you actually learn how to treat what's going on.
Right.
And that's the only way that you're going to get better.
Yeah. I have 2 more questions, and then we need to talk about the episode.
For sure.
The last question is for you, and the second one is for us. How's your golf game?
Oh, my golf game.
This is quick. You got 1 line to answer.
My golf game is improving this year. I did not, the first year we were in Colorado, the first year we were in North Carolina, I only got to play twice. The second year we've been in North Carolina, I have gotten to play more and practice more. We've found a new golf facility close by, so that makes it easier to practice.
And you bring Tate.
Tate is going with me, so that's fun as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to get the handicap down and play a little bit more. I'm finally got back to being able to score what I was scoring in Colorado. And you got 2 bogeys recently. No, birdies. You had 2 birdies recently. I was happy about that. You can still get 2 birdies and shoot a ridiculously bad round. But 2 birdies in 1 round for me, for a golfer that shoots in the high 90s, is a pretty fun thing.
I'm very proud of you. The next thing I want to talk about before we get into our subject today is that Taylor Swift's new album came out on Friday, and I am a truther believer of this album, and I will not stand for any of the slander. Thomas had some slander. He's listened to it like a total of 1 time and decided that was not his album. And I think that the impact of Opalite in our home has been drastic for our family, and I just can't believe that you are on the other side of this. I think that if you gave the album a little bit more chance, if you listen to the clean version, Thomas can't listen to the dirty version. He doesn't like it. But the clean version really is, I think, significantly better, if I'm just being honest. It really, maybe not significantly. I do think the clean version is better. Because some of the cussing that she does in the words, takes me out of the song a little bit. But I am obsessed with this album. I think this is my number 2 album out of all of hers. I think it goes Tortured Poets Department, Life of a Showgirl, probably Reputation, and then Midnights. But seriously, like, I'm obsessed with this album. And
well, I think for me, what I've told you a couple times is because we have to stay up later here in the day to listen to it. We listen to it on our TV in our bedroom,
right? And it was not a good
experience. It just did not sound great coming out of that TV. So I think that was one of the reasons that I was like,
yeah, it did not hit nearly as hard when I listened on my phone. I was like, this is a completely different experience.
So the songs that I've listened back to again since then, like in the car or something like that, have sounded better. So I do like some of the songs. I do.
Tate loves the song Opalite. I don't play music for him like that because it's inappropriate, but I will play Opalite for him, and he loves it because it's like a fun, lighthearted, sweet song, and he just wants to listen to it all the time. He asks, "Can we listen to Taylor?"
We listened to it on the way to school this morning.
Oh yeah, he just loves it. Like he'll start singing it by himself, and it's just really cute. And there's a line in there that sounds like one of our boys' names, and so like he thinks that they're saying that, and he'll say it, and it's just the best.
Yeah. Yep, he loves it.
Yeah. Honey is one of my top favorite songs. Wood also is my favorite song, which I know that's like kind of crazy to say, but I think it's got a perfect beat, and it's like funny, and I'm married, so I can like it. Anyways, if you're not married, you can still like the song.
And I was a little bummed that the Sabrina Carpenter song did not.
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's not good. It just didn't hit the way that, like, I guess I'll say this on here because I'm safe with your followers.
Yeah.
But I love listening to Sabrina Carpenter songs.
Sabrina Carpenter. But you didn't really like her new album. You had to like turn off. You were like, I feel like I can't listen to this.
There's some songs on the album just from the subject matter I don't prefer to listen to.
Right.
But some of her songs from previous albums have, like, they're fun songs to listen to, like how they sound. Yeah. There was some songs like that on her new album as well. Yeah. And I was just hoping that this one was going to be a little more fun. Yeah. But I'm not saying it's not a good song. Artistically, it's still a really great song, and it sounds good. I was just hoping
you're not a showgirl, like the life of a showgirl. I related to some of those things. Like, I'm not a showgirl, but like
I'm waiting for the life of a golf bro.
Yeah.
To
well,
come
Travis
out.
maybe can release that for you.
Yeah, maybe he can.
Okay.
Before we get into this, if you hear construction noises, they're resurfacing our street today. I'm also hoping I'm not getting blocked in right now from going to work. So.
Oh, oops, sorry. Can't go to work.
It is what it is. Somebody's got to pick our son up from school though.
He can go to Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about, I actually don't like the term that I used when I posted about this on Instagram, but it was the like term that people use a lot about like how to train your husband. So I have talked to so many women who are married, and I see the discourse online about how like the mental load is 99.9% carried by the wife. The husbands don't know how to do anything. They go to work, they come home, they sit on the couch, they don't get up. Like moms can't leave their kids without leaving like a super detailed long list. Husbands just don't see things the way that wives see them, and it just creates a lot of like resentment in the home. And I feel like over the past, probably the first like 3 years of our marriage, I think, or maybe even shorter than that, I think we really like worked through this like before Tate was born, because once Tate was born, I feel like that first year we were still working through it a little bit, but like we very equally share the mental load. At this exact moment, you're doing 99% and I'm doing 1%, but my 1% is very important with carrying our twin boys. And I do what I can.
I wouldn't say it's 1%.
Oh,
you're keeping right. 2 kids alive.
You're right. So that's 2%. It's 2%.
I'm keeping 1 toddler.
Right. So outside of the pregnancy, like when I'm like, I cooked dinner last night, you guys.
Oh.
Can you talk about my dinner? Can you brag about it, please? Tell everybody how good it was.
It was cheesy tortellini with sausage, like Italian cheesy.
I've been thinking about how I'm going to eat for lunch. I'm so excited.
I mean, it was. If you would have like brought that to me and said this is fresh takeout from an Italian restaurant, I would have been like, yeah, that makes sense to me.
Wow, that is a huge compliment.
It was incredible, and I was having a little bit of a tough day yesterday.
Yeah.
And when you said you were going to cook dinner, it was like such a weight off that I was so appreciative, and it was so good.
Yeah. It's hard for me to do things with our toddler right now because he's so big and so physical, and so it was either I play with Tate
he just attacks us all day.
all day long. It was either I play with Tate or cook dinner, or Tate just like sits in front of the TV. And like I want to spend time with my son, but it's like it's just really hard right now. So I just was like having a burst of energy, and I was like, I can cook dinner, I can follow a recipe, I can do this, and like it's sausage, and all I have to do with sausage is like put it in the pan. So I felt confident that I could do that.
Well, and it worked out because you did that, but I was able to muster up enough energy to take him outside.
Yes.
So you cooked dinner. I was able to get him outside.
Right.
Everybody won.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
But outside of like the pregnancy affecting us, which is, I also do want to talk about that because people make comments all the time like, I don't know how you do it. I would sit on the couch all day. And I was like, I sit on the couch all day. What are you talking about? That's what I do. And people are like shocked. I'm like, Thomas does everything. I don't have to ask him to do that. Like he gets up with our son. He gets him ready for school. I change his clothes. Like he gets him out the door. He goes to work. He cleans up the kitchen downstairs. Like he really does everything because I physically cannot. Like I'm so tired. I'm so sick. I'm so exhausted that I physically can't do anything. And so he really does it. And I'm like, I'm able to be pregnant with twins right now with a toddler because of who my husband is. And I really think that it's due to all of the work that we have put in together to get to this point.
Yeah.
But we really do share the mental load. Like I do not walk around feeling this like heaviness all day. Like the people will talk about, the moms are always thinking 3 steps forward about the doctor's appointments, the packing the clothes for the trip that the kids are going to go on, like where they're going to sleep, the schedules, the life that trying to keep a child alive and trying to keep your home in order and like, okay, trying to clean the house before you leave and make sure you have snacks and set out your food for the next day. And like, okay, we got to get the meals for the week. We need to go to the grocery store. We need to make sure we have all that. And we make sure we have the clothes for our child and, re-put or go try to sell the clothes that don't fit anymore. Like all the things. But I feel like we have really come to a place where, like you're thinking about those things equally as I am. And when I'm doing those things, I just look at it as like, this is my responsibility of being a mom. Like, to think about those things. Like I don't get mad at you when you don't think about like a doctor's appointment that we need to schedule because like I feel like you do so many other things and I'm like, yeah, that's my responsibility.
There has to be some kind of balance, right? Like some of the times when we talk about this, the joke that I like to do is asking you like, hey, well, where do we pay our water bill?
Right. Oh yeah, he does that all the time. He'll be like, where do we pay our water bill? I'm like,
so when we're talking about this, there's not like a full expectation that both spouses can do everything like interchangeably. I think the goal is as much as possible.
Yeah.
Both spouses, both parents, doing as much being able to do as much interchangeably on their own as possible. I think there's some things that for couples it just works out if one person is the mostly primary person on that. I think you develop that over time. I think it can change during different seasons.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think our goal has been for, some of the big things, especially things related to Tate and related to the kids that are coming and like household things, trying to make them as interchangeable as possible to where if I need to pick up and take Tate to go do something, or you take him to go do something, or like we could both handle that without having to heavily rely on another information coming in from another person.
Things have swapped over the years too. Like for a while, like I was not good at the grocery store because I would grab so many things that we did not need. Like that was me. I see people talk about their husbands doing that all the time. That is me. I'm like, oh, this looks good. I want this. Like I'm gonna get this.
Well, and it was also like I was doing all of the cooking, but you were trying to pick out the things, and I was like, I'm not doing this.
No,
like,
so like he would grocery shop, and I would help with like making the list of like what we were gonna make that week and stuff. But like he would grocery shop, and then over time it kind of switched to where like I guess I figured out more self-control. And
we changed to Trader Joe's for most of our grocery shopping, so there's also less options.
That's a big part of it.
But that's the thing that just over time we've figured out, like when it comes to you getting things that I'm still cooking, like we've gone together enough times to where I know what my preference would be. Yeah. Like we both just had to learn over time. But that I think that's actually a great example of, if I need to go get groceries one week, like it just works out better for my schedule to go do it. Or this week you were sick, right, so it was, you still made a list, but then I got Tate ready.
Yeah.
We went.
Yep.
And we got our groceries.
Yep. And I will say, taking a child to the grocery store is very difficult unless you're going to Trader Joe's. Like,
True.
I mean, it's still hard. I'm not saying that like it's easy for you, but like you said that this week Tate was grabbing stuff, and thankfully he just grabbed the basil, and we needed the basil.
I could not believe it. He grabbed something off a shelf. He threw it in the buggy, and I was like, "Hey, buddy, don't grab stuff. Like, we don't need that." I went to pick it up, and it was actually on the list. I was like,
what
"Oh,"
we needed.
And it was something that I was like looking for and couldn't find, and he just grabbed
he just
it.
happened to find it.
I was like, "Okay, buddy. Thank you, but
don't do that again." But Trader Joe's is like an experience. Like it's not big.
I was about to say
it's smaller.
Smaller.
You're in and out.
Yep.
Ours has like this little gooseberry, which is like a bird that they hide.
Every place you're taking a kid should have something like that, just to keep their brain entertained.
Yeah, so we're always looking to find the gooseberry. If you find the gooseberry, you can get a sucker. He calls him a lick.
Oh, keep going. Sorry.
So yeah, he calls him a lick. So anyways, but I feel like we definitely are not the model for this. Like, we have our own issues with this stuff, but I really feel like we are at a good place with it. Like, I do not feel this like burden. I don't carry this burden, because I say me because it's like the wife thing. Like, I don't carry the burden all the time of like having to do everything and be everything, and because I really feel like we carry the mental load equally, and also in seasons where we're going through stuff, it's not always equal. Like when you've gone through some of your like really bad OCD moments, I feel like I have jumped in and done more for our home because you've been or your work seasons.
Yeah. I mean, my work seasons, it's all the time. I mean,
but like for when I'm pregnant, like you are doing so much more of it, and you always say, "I don't know if we can get pregnant again."
No, we're not. No, you said a crazy thing 2 days ago. We're walking into dinner, and you like soft launch having another kid in 5 years. No way.
Yeah.
No way.
No, we're not having 4 children.
But I think so. I think for us, I think there's multiple areas that like have set us up for success in this. And I think some of it is good, because I know there's people that are parents that listen to this, because a lot of it starts with how you're raising kids.
Yeah.
Right? Like I know for you were firstborn, oldest. So there was a lot of things that you just had to start figuring out.
Yeah.
So, as you're becoming independent, the younger you're becoming independent, there can be negative things with that. But a positive thing is being able to help take care of things and figure things out on your own.
Yeah.
I think for me, my background was a lot different.
Very different.
But there were still
there
were still some things of like, I had to learn how to cook at a younger age.
You did.
I learned how to do my own laundry at a younger age. Like I still lived at home, but my parents didn't do my laundry. They did, like I was doing that pretty young, like before I could drive. I think I was doing my laundry.
Right.
So, having chores that you're responsible for, not doing everything. So translating that to being parents, right? Like appropriately not doing everything for your kids helps to start build that independence, because I think from some of the things that we're seeing, we're not super old, but we're a little bit
we're getting there.
We're a little bit older now. We've been married for almost 7 years. I think some of the things that we're seeing are from like people a few years behind us, and I think that some of that comes from people that are younger than us, their parents doing a little bit more for them, because their parents probably wanted to do more for their kids than their parents did for them. And it's a positive thing that is happening. Yeah. But if you're not being careful with it, then you're going to raise kids that don't know how to go into a relationship well, to take care of themselves and learn how to take care of other people. Now, like you said, our transition to that wasn't perfect. But I think we had a good foundation to build off of that, okay, how do we, you have to be able to do some things independently.
Yes.
I think another thing that kind of pushed the envelope with us, like you said, is we have had a lot of seasons where you've been down for the count.
That is so true. That is so true.
We went from being pregnant to breastfeeding to a broken leg and now pregnant again.
Yeah.
So,
but I would even say before that, like, we've gone through a lot of like hard things since we got married, like living away from all of our family, all of my like trauma from the church stuff that we went through. Like, I was in therapy every week for that. Like, I was deeply unwell, like mentally for a long time. Like our history with porn, like we've gone through a lot of hard stuff. And so there's been a lot of seasons where our like load has kind of shifted and we've really had to like,
well, the OCD stuff, I mean, that was
and so but then in the post child season, like I got pregnant and then breastfeeding, then breaking my leg, and then getting pregnant again. And pregnancy for me is extremely difficult, so you really did have to just kind of like figure it out. But even outside of being kids, like we are having kids, I do feel like we over the years have kind of figured out how to carry that mental load equally. But I don't think it was like you have said, it's not like a thing that comes to you like naturally, like like it's like you've had to like work on the mindset around it. And I think that's what we should talk about, because that's important.
For sure. I mean, I think for me, you know, I like to just relax. I like to. And when we first got married, we were able to relax a lot.
Yeah. We had a good system going in, because we had already set expectations, which I think really helped us, but I still think there was like unspoken expectations
for sure.
of who does what. But like we had decided like you're handling the finances because like you're really good at that. You see that very well. I knew nothing about finances. We said you were going to do the finances, and you were going to cook because you really enjoy cooking. You're good at it. I didn't think about cooking, but I was going to do all the cleaning, which over the years I was like, okay, I can't do all of the cleaning, like that is just not possible. But we went into it with those kind of solid things, which I really do think set us up for success.
I agree. I mean, I think that's good for anybody to talk about going into a relationship. I mean, it is a big part of going through premarital counseling. So hopefully that gets covered. If your premarital counselor does not bring that up, you should fire your premarital counselor and get a new one.
But continue with what you're saying.
I don't remember what I was saying.
I don't either, and I was hoping you would, because it was good.
Well, I think talking beforehand, having at least a starting plan. But knowing that, hey, this could change is good. But having
but we were saying it's not innate for you. It's like not natural for you.
Oh, you want me to go back to talk about how I am not good?
Yeah, well, we have to, because we both were at a like not great place, and now we've gotten to a great place, and I think that's what we need to talk about.
Well, I mean, I think the internal heart matter is just, I think everybody has a thing that they have to fight where they just wish other people would do things for them. I think that is I think that's part of the human condition.
Right.
That, you know, if whatever the easier path is, that's the path that, you know, you're going to fall into if you're not being intentional. Yeah. So, you know, I think there was a little bit of that for me at first, of just, you know, growing up in the Southeast and traditional Christian, that the wife is going to do X, Y, Z. I think that's something that gets taught to our generation. And I definitely like came into our marriage with some of that of like, you said you can't do all the cleaning. I was like, well, no, you're going to do all the cleaning because I'm doing all of X, Y, and Z. Yeah. And it was, you know, like I was seeing it as almost like harder lines between responsibilities. Yeah. Where that's just, you know, that's not feasible. It's feasible if you have nothing going on. But if you want to add, once you add other levels to your life about trying to have a social life and people getting sick and, you know, different work things coming up, and then adding kids to that, you have to start being able to, you know, shift between different roles and responsibilities.
Yeah, and I think that you also started seeing the responsibilities in a different light too. Like, I think people would say like, oh, well, he worked all day, and they wouldn't say that about the wife who is like maybe a stay-at-home mom or has a job as well. And it's like, okay, well, she also worked all day, and she was the house cleaner all day, and she was prepared the meals all day, so she was the chef, and she was the primary caretaker of their children, so she was the nanny that day. So like, I think that you also started to shift your viewpoints of like how you viewed the more traditional like women roles as like, oh no, this is actually like a lot of work all the time, and like how exhausted you are thinking about just all the things that need to be done. You're like, oh wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot to keep a house going.
Yeah, it is. And what did you even think about? Did you like the term mental load? Like, what did you know about that before we kind of started talking about it?
Not a lot. I think that out of the gate, I would have been like, well, yeah, I mean, I have my own mental load as well that I'm taking care of on my own. I think I saw it as kind of like an individualized thing, not necessarily a shared mental load for our home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so what do you think about it now?
Now I think it's more of like a, I see things as lists, right? Responsibilities, tasks. So I think that's kind of how I see it is,
Yeah.
there's an objective of keeping the house going. What are all the things that it takes to do that?
Yeah.
How many of those things are solely mine? How many of those things are solely yours? How many of those things do we both need to be prepared and be flexible on so that if something happens? Because there are things like, if I get sick and I'm down for the count for 3 days, okay, well, unless it happens to fall on the window of 3 days where our rent has to be paid, that's not a like super necessary task.
Yeah.
Or, things for you that you're doing that would fall into a similar category of, if it doesn't happen for 3 days, that's fine if we're dropping that because something else has come up.
And what like tools have you used to help or like we've got, or you or us together that we put into place to like help keep our like household and lives going? Like, cause I asked a question on Instagram and somebody was like, my husband started setting Siri reminders when he couldn't do a task that needed to be done at the moment. And some people were like, my husband would never do that. But like, I feel like you just kind of got to the point where you're like, hey, if I'm not going to remember, like, we're just going to do this. Like, self-explanatory, but.
Well, I mean, I live off of lists.
You do.
So I have, in my weekly list, I have a household section or like family moments, something like that, personal, family.
Yeah.
And I have some stuff set to just recurring to remind me, oh, hey, there's a bathroom that needs to be picked up and cleaned. There's laundry that needs to be done. So I live off of things like that where
we have 3 running lists in our phone, that like shared reminder lists. We have a grocery one, we have a Trader Joe's one, and a Target one. And like whenever we're out of diapers, like you just add the diapers to the list. Or if like I can't do it at the moment, like we'll say like, hey, add yogurt to the grocery list. So the grocery list is always ongoing usually. And we have grocery and Trader Joe's separate because some things we can't get at Trader Joe's. So we just
and I think the big thing though is that a lot of those things, maybe not with some of the tasks, but a lot of those lists are shared.
Yes, that's
right?
what I'm saying.
So
shared
if
lists,
you're putting something on there that you need, but I end up like, no, I got to go to Target right now to get this one thing.
Right.
I can check this list and see, is there any other stuff that I can get while I'm here?
Right.
So making sure that everything's shared so that, things can get done. If there's something that needs to be done in the kitchen, and I'm already cleaned the kitchen,
right,
I can just do that at the same time.
Yeah. And I think something that has been helpful for us, and has not always been great, because I have really had to work on like softening my tone when I talk about things. But I think has been really helpful. I hear a lot of women talking about resentment towards their spouse because they are carrying the mental load. Like the husband will go to work, come home, and that's it. Like they're not doing things with the child. They're not up in the middle of the night. I mean, from the minute Tate was born, which we talked a lot about this before Tate was born, I was like, I'm not going to be like the only parent in this. Like we are doing this together. And you were like, absolutely. So you were up with me every single hour with Tate. Like even if it meant sleeping on the floor, you were there. But there was still a lot of hardship with that because like you were, overwhelmed with the exhaustion of it all and trying to handle it all. And so there was times where I'm like, I am doing all of this stuff with Tate and I can't do it anymore. But I hear all this like resentment from wives about their husbands don't do anything. They don't jump in. They don't even see it like that. Like it's just like they're going to keep living their life the way that they want to. And you have not done that, I would say.
I think the thing that people get confused on is even if you make all of the money for your family, that does not replace still being a husband or still being a dad to your kids.
Right.
Like, does that mean that your wife takes the kids to every single doctor's appointment? Maybe. Maybe it does if it takes you 60 hours a week to work to make all that money. But when you're home and you're trying to like get things ready for the next day and get things organized, like you don't there's not just a certain amount of hours. And if you hit those hours for your family, then you don't have to do anything else.
Right.
So you still have to be able to understand a little bit about what's going on in your home as a husband and as a father.
Right.
That is separate from the idea that you know, a stay-at-home mom is not a 24/7 job.
Right.
You know, there's parts of that is like, okay, well, if that's what you've decided to be as your, I'm putting job in quotes just to make sure we're understanding difference between going to work.
Right.
But like, if that's what you do, you also don't just shut that off at 5 o'clock when your spouse comes home. Like, that's when you're there together as a family.
Right.
And you go from stay-at-home mom to mother. Or,
and I would,
you know,
if
say
you're trying,
if you're somebody that struggles with hard lines like I do, like that's how I think about it. It's like, yes, I go do a job to make money because that is something I do to provide for our family. But that doesn't mean that when I punch out of that clock, that I'm also punching out of the other clock at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just turning on a different one. And I would say if the parent has been home all day with the kid, like, that in itself, I think, is sometimes even a harder job than some of the other jobs too. So it's like, okay, I genuinely need a break. But all I was gonna say was that is like has been great for us, but good for us. But I have not been the best. Is like with the resentment things. Like I think so many wives are afraid to speak up to their husbands, and I just don't let things go, like slide. Like I don't like if I feel something about like our home and how it's gone. Like in the early years too, I would just say like. I feel like I'm doing it all. Like, I need you to help me. And I don't just, like, let it keep going on and expect it to change. Like, things are not going to change if you don't communicate about them. And they're not just going to wake up one day and be like, oh, I guess I should be a dad today. I'm going to jump in and help. Like, it went over and over of like times of our I'd be like, I need you to jump in and help. I need you to think about this for Tate. I need you to jump in and think about this. Like, I need you to think 3 steps ahead because I'm not just going to do that. Like, I'll see people post on Facebook like, my husband sleeps in every day, and which I'm sleeping in every day at the moment. But, you know, my husband sleeps
He's not
in.
Pregnant.
Yeah, my husband sleeps in every day till 9 a.m. and then plays golf because golf gets a really bad rap for husbands, but like, I don't love the time it's spent.
You need to tell your husbands that I said you need to be smarter about playing golf so that people are nicer about playing golf so I can go play more golf.
I know. Like, it's not my favorite because it does take a lot of time, but you are very intentional.
Get up and go early.
Yes. Like, you go super early. You make sure you're home by a certain time. You also will, like, clean the house before you go so that way we have a clean house. Like, you do your responsibilities. And I do believe that you should be able to go do your own things that like you want to go do.
If you have a toddler and you're not trying to tee off at 6 a.m. instead of 10 a.m.,
right?
What are you doing?
But they'll be mad like my husband does all this, and I'm like, okay, well, have you talked to them about it? Well, I don't want to nag. Okay, well, I just don't let that happen. I'm like, okay, you're waking up at 8 a.m. today. Like, get up, let's go.
Well,
like,
yeah, I mean that's where you start. But the next thing is just stop doing stuff for them.
Right.
That
means we do have to suffer for a little bit. We may have a dirtier home for a little bit, or
but
maybe
stop
more
doing
exhausted.
their stuff.
But it's like
stop doing their laundry. Just do your laundry and the kids' laundry.
Yeah.
And if they start talking about they're out of clothes, you're like, well, hey, you know how to do the laundry?
Right. I just think
or if they genuinely don't know how to do something, show them how to do it.
Yeah.
One time.
Right.
Say, hey, here's what I pack for the kids.
Yeah.
Remember it. Write it down. You don't have to baby someone around.
Right.
Give them, but give them the first look. If they start start genuinely like you want somebody to do something, show them how to do it one time, but then from that, let people figure it out.
And the internet is there to help you. Like, you can Google things, ask things. I know I'm over here like anti-AI, but like you can ask. Like
Well, you don't have to ChatGPT it. You can still use. There's this thing that we used growing up called Google.
Yes, but now Google AI pops up, and for some reason I feel less bad about that.
Yeah, but you can scroll past that.
I know, but still, like but I think it just also becomes like being an adult too, and recognizing that when you have with the child part specifically, like when you have a child, like things change. Like, I don't have to leave a list for you. Like, my friend last year, sometime my friend was in the hospital, and I found out she was in the hospital at like 1 o'clock.
Well, but you still taught me, right? That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
At some point, like, I don't think you can have an expectation because people are naturally going to be better at things, right?
Yeah.
Like, you've always thought about being a mom. I think.
Yeah.
I do think, like, it's not a stereotype. I do think women think about these things more.
Yeah, I mean, it's in our bodies. Like,
but
we're created that way.
But so there is that piece of like, you can't just expect your husband to know how to do something. I think that would be great.
Right.
And I think worst case scenario, a man would be able to figure out how to keep their kid alive.
Yes.
Like if crap hit the fan, right? We're not stupid.
Yeah.
But there is a level of, you need to teach them how to do things a certain way for your family initially. Like you had to, I learned from you what are we gonna pack for him? What are we gonna do this to a degree?
Yeah.
And now like
And I see what I mean. Like, I'm exhausted by that, but I don't think it took that long. And maybe that's just because you're also like motivated and want to be an equal partner. But I was willing to put in the time and the effort and let things like go for a little bit that were maybe harder for me, because I saw the long game of like, this will be really hard for me now, but to do the extra things or do the teaching. But once that's done, like, okay, now like we're good. Like like I was saying, my friend was in the hospital. I looked at him and he was like, "Yeah, you need to go." I was like, "Yeah, I need to go." And so I would left within the hour. And Tate was like, it was a year ago, so he was still 1, and I didn't say anything to you. I literally packed my bags and left within the hour and was gone for like 2 days, and I didn't have to tell you a single thing. And he was still a baby at that point.
Well, and some of that, like you're talking about practical things, right?
Yeah.
Like one, I knew everything that needed to happen.
Because you've been an invested parent.
Anything that was going to come up while you were gone that he needed to be at was in the calendar.
Yeah.
So there's things like that you can do to where, you don't have to make me a list in a moment, because in theory we make lists every day for all of the things that are coming up.
And we live and die by our calendar. We have a shared calendar that we live by too.
But I think the other thing that would help wives and moms not feel so exhausted is, at some point though, you have to be okay with the dads having a little bit different of a system.
Yes,
than what you do. Like
but I feel like I should have prefaced some of our stuff with our specific relationship earlier, that we do have the privilege of you working from home, and we've always worked from home together. So since we got married, we have had a very flexible job situation. Like, we've had jobs, but for the most part, we've either worked in the same building or worked from home together since we've gotten married. So like that does make a big difference, and we have to acknowledge that, because for those who like are out of the house for like 7 or 8 hours a day, like it's harder for them to have these conversations, because like, when are they supposed to talk about it? If something's going on, if we're not in a meeting, we can talk about it at 2 p.m. So I do want to say that, because I think that is a very important piece for our specific relationship, is that we have that flexibility that we have,
for sure.
But
I think that's like,
but the different system is very important. I have had to let go of things, because I asked on Instagram like what y'all's thoughts were on this, and people are like, we just have so drastically different definitions of clean. And that's where I want to say, I'm like, listen, there's got to be some letting go that happens. Like, I have had to let go of things, because I look at your system, I'm like, I wouldn't do that. I would not dress him like that. But I have also had to be like, I also need to let him be a dad. Yeah. I have to let go of some of my control with things.
Oh, yeah.
And let
we plan differently. We organize differently.
Yes, we plan differently. We organize differently. You throw away the spices when we don't need them. Like, we...
Whoa.
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 But, like, we...
I didn't know we were bringing our list. Hold on, let me...
No, stop. But that's where I would say to the wife, like, in a kind of way, like, we do have to let go of control, like, and we have to let them be a parent. Like, just because we do it a certain way does not also mean that it is the right way either, like, in the best way. We have to like kind of humble ourselves a little bit, but also just let go of some of that control and let them be a parent, because they are a parent as well. And I have learned a lot about parenting things. Like, I don't like how I've said something, but I've loved how you've done it. Like, I found out that he had been praying the same prayer over our son since he was 6 months old, and it's a great prayer, and Tate can repeat it back to him perfectly every night. And I'm like, oh, I would have loved to do that. Like, I didn't know you were doing it. That's awesome. Like, I learn a lot from how you parent and how you're a dad, and I think you also learn a lot from how I'm a mom and things I do. And I also genuinely like value your input on things. So if we're trying to figure out a parenting thing, I'm like, what do you think about this? What do you think we should do? And we usually come to like some kind of agreement on that. But I offer different perspectives, and you offer different perspectives. Well, I've really had to like let go of some things, like with the systems and stuff, like you said. It's hard, but it's important, like, for us to both come. Yeah,
I've had to let go of things too. I am very particular about how I like things to be.
Yeah.
You're very particular about how you like things to be. And we've had a lot of conversations about how that's just not going to be, that's not going to be a thing. It can't be a thing if we're going to try to figure out how to compromise.
Right.
And move things forward.
Right. Yeah. We have to come together. And I do want to talk some specifics too. So like I had a lot of people say like, how do I talk about these things without nagging? And I have said that to you so many times. Like even recently, I feel like I was trying to think in the bathroom this morning. There was something I said recently. I was like, I'm sorry. Like I just feel like I'm on you or nagging you or like reminding you. And you said like, you do not have to apologize. Like I did not do this. And like it needed to be brought up. And I can't remember what that was about, but you said that to me and I was like, oh, okay, like that was helpful.
I'm sure I said that because I'm a great husband.
You are. But like,
but that comes with time. I would not expect that out of the gate. Like we've had long enough time together now to where like it just we will communicate about it differently now than you will when you start.
Right. But like, how do we talk about those things? Even those who've been married for a long time too. They're like, how do we have bring up those things in those conversations without trying to sound naggy and controlling.
So that's what I'm saying is that
also we don't want to sound like demeaning either. Like we don't want to
for sure. But all I was saying is like if in the moment you say something right now that could that you might think, oh, that was nagging. Like it's not gonna bother me because you don't nag me all the time. So when something comes out in a moment out of frustration, that won't bother me as much as it used to.
Yeah.
Because we've had enough time together where I'm like, she was just mad.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is. If we need to talk about if there's a pattern that needs to be addressed, that's different.
Yeah.
But I think how you bring it up is you gotta kind of, finding the right time is a very difficult thing to do. But I would say that's probably the beginning of it, is trying to find a good time because there's not going to be a uniform thing for everybody. Like some people like to get into things in a positive way and talk about things when they're on a date. Some people like their dates to just be, no, we leave stuff at the door because we want to spend time with each other. I don't think there's a right or wrong there.
Yeah.
But like trying to figure out, okay, what are the times previously that have been a good time for me to bring something up? Like I think that's the first bit, is finding the right time. I think so. Once you found the right time, I think the next thing is, like you said, addressing something humbly.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, I know you are doing blah, blah, blah. Like acknowledge what the person is doing. Then bring your case and say, something I've been thinking about and trying to figure out is blah, blah, blah. And then at first offer your spouse the opportunity to speak for themselves or to come up with the solution on their own. Like that's something that I try to do, is I'll say, hey, this is happening. What do you think? Because the reason that's important is if they come up with an idea on their own, there's ownership from the get-go versus you saying, hey, I need you to start doing X, Y, Z.
Ownership is a big, big piece of this, because I think that what I see a lot of people talking about is like their spouse just expects their other spouse to handle it. And they're just like, oh yeah, well they'll do it. It's like, why do I have to think about that? But it's like, no, we are in this together. We are a team. We are working on this together. Like we can't just handle it all. And so the other spouse needs to decide like, okay, I'm going to own this. Like I think that's a really good.
Well, the chances of the chances of like unknown expectations being met is pretty low. Like I tell, that was kind of one of the things as we've talked about this mental load stuff, is you have said a lot of times, I thought I just need you to think about this on your own. And I think that is the goal. But some of my pushback has been like, I just tell me, like, if you'll just tell me something, I'll do it. And then,
but then I'm like, but I don't want to have to tell you.
I know, but that's over time though.
Yes.
Actually not over time. What I'm talking about right now though is in these moments when we are bringing it up.
Oh yeah.
Right. Like that's your time when you to bring it up.
Yeah.
Like that's the moment. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about all the time.
Right. Because that's the constant conversation that these spouses are having, is like these couples are having, is like, I don't want to tell you to think about what your kid's gonna have for lunch
but that's what this moment is about, right? Is instead of in the moment you're saying, I don't want to tell, like, I want you to think about this. And then my pushback is, well, if you would just tell me, that's both people's frustrations.
Right.
But when we're talking about when do you bring something up, like in these moments when you found the right time. You've acknowledged what the other person is doing. This is the time now to bring up the thing, talk to them about the thing you wish they would do and wish they would help you think about.
As like detailed and clear, like with clarity as you can, I think too.
Yeah, because there has to be, I think that's what I'm trying to explain is like, if your husband isn't getting it, he's not going to magically get it.
Right.
So there does have to be these moments where you bring it up and you, like you said, lay it out as clearly as possible. Hey, in the mornings when I'm trying to get the kids ready for school, I'm having to pack their lunches, I'm having to get them dressed, I'm having to make sure XYZ. It'd be a huge help if you could do blah 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 from this, or if you could help. Like that is the moment to lay it out, and then
I think even talking about our wording too, and saying like, yes, it's to be a huge help if you do this, but also like I believe it is both of our responsibilities to care for our child and be a parent, because it's also like, how was I able just to pick up and leave? It's because we did everything as much as we could together, like together. Like it wasn't just like I'm getting up with Tate in the middle of the night every night and you're sleeping. Like, no, we do it together. Like, and we did have a job where like that was okay. Like if you're, have some like high pressure job where you genuinely need sleep or someone's going to die or something bad can happen. Like that's obviously a different story. So I'm, just want to say that, but
if you work in the OR,
right. You need your sleep.
Figure
I'm not
something
saying
out.
that. But like, we're doing this together too. So you're not necessarily just like helping, like you're doing your part. It's like recognizing that we each have a part to play in this. And that's why things can go so like smoothly in our home, because we're each like playing our part. We're not, and then, but we also like, I'll see some people being like, I don't want to like, my spouse loaded the dishwasher and I thanked them. And like, I load the dishwasher every day and they don't thank me, but it's like, okay, well, it's good every now and again to like thank somebody. Like I see people throwing around comments like that, and I'm like, it's great to acknowledge.
Tell somebody that you wish they would tell you thank you more.
Yeah, like
I mean, you can cut this if you don't want it in there, but I've had to tell you that.
You have.
Hey, I need you to acknowledge every now and then that stuff is happening. Like,
right.
You're doing all this stuff. I'm doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
I need you to acknowledge me more, and I will try to acknowledge you more.
Yes.
Right?
Like, but like we've talked about that. Yeah, we definitely keep that in because that's real. Like we have had to say those things, and I'm like, it's never a bad thing to compliment somebody. It is just helpful and motivating. And I think
just because it's something that needs to be done doesn't mean it doesn't deserve a thank you.
Exactly. And so I think we can just try to view our spouses in a different light.
From your spouse.
Yes.
From your spouse.
Yeah. I think trying to view
these
your spouse
expectations are just for your spouse, not every relationship you're in.
I think it's helpful to view them too in a way of like also thinking about how they grew up. If they didn't grow up like naturally having to do these things and see these things, like yes, it is work to try to like quote unquote train your spouse. Like I don't like that term. It's really negative. But I don't know another way to say it.
I mean,
like,
you used a clicker and gave me treats when
no, I did not. But I think it's just like you're doing it for your family and setting up success for your family. Is worth it and worth putting that time in and that communication in. And it is exhausting, but also like they have to at some point, like if you're continuing to do these things, having these conversations and are not doing it, then it's like at that point, like we need to go to therapy. Like they need to actually like see the change, like that there needs to be a change, because like you can only talk so much.
Right. Well,
because when I talk about seeing your spouse a different light, like having grace for them, they're not thinking like this. I also think men and women are truly wired differently. Like I genuinely believe they're wired differently. And it's like we see things that they don't see, but also they see things that we don't see. So like,
well, and sometimes you need like the good thing with therapy is sometimes you need another person to help you talk.
Yeah, you need
like
that third person.
It's not not everybody is gifted to be a good communicator. It's hard to talk about things that you're frustrated about.
Totally.
So sometimes it's good to just go to therapy, to have another person help mediate those conversations.
Yeah.
Help you talk past the frustrations.
Right.
Yeah.
I wanted to read some of what people said when I talked about this.
Yeah, let's do it.
People said...
Let me read it. Hold on. Oh, no, never mind. I'm not going to look at it. Sorry.
No. You do not get to see the people's
I know,
names.
but I just like to... It's fun to read things.
Change training to developing ways to communicate, learning to understand each other's needs. I like that better.
That's a long book title.
I know. Someone said
Wait, hold on. Read that again.
Change training to developing ways to communicate, learning to understand each other's needs.
Yeah, that sounds great. If that was on a book, it would have that stamp on it.
Yeah.
New York Times bestseller.
I really hate the term, but I love looking at it as learning how to love and serve each other best. Somebody said he had no idea that you had to put laundry detergent in the washer, assumed it did it automatically. And sometimes you just don't know things.
That's not a terrible assumption. How?
Right.
I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Why is the laundry thing not?
That's so true.
I should just be able to hook a tank up to the what is it? Washing machine?
Right.
To the washing.
Somebody said newlywed here how to quote unquote train without sounding needy, critical, and mothering, and I do think that we covered that. But even now, we've been married for however many years, and it's still we joke about like
threaten to call. If you should just threaten to call their mom.
It's true. I will call your mom if you don't do this.
Yeah.
But we still joke like I have how many kids, or outside of being pregnant, I'm like, oh, I've got 3 sons, like Tate, Thomas, and Theo.
Oh, yeah, it's rowdy. I mean, it's gonna.
But that's like a fun jest.
It's rowdy around here
because like there are things I'm like, come on, we got to parent together. Like I'm not.
For sure.
Yeah. But I do think we covered that. Hopefully. Someone put a quote. I like this. They have a minimum standard of care is something good to agree on. So like what is your minimum standard of care?
Yeah.
Like what does XX chore entail? I think that's helpful. Like
no, for sure. Because I think that's good to know so that because what we were talking about is how we would have different ways to do things. But I mean, if there is something that you specifically really care about, then a conversation like that is good. And then especially when you're talking about children, right? Like, what do we consider our minimum is for like safety or all these different things? Like, what is that bare minimum? Agree on that. But once you make that agreement, as long as you're hitting that minimum, everything outside of that is a preference. Yeah. And you have to be okay with someone else's preferences.
Totally. Somebody said, training sounds like teaching your husband how to exist, but I do see that we both have to learn how to support and love each other. That's out of love, though. I do feel like we have to learn how we best run our house and our roles, not like our parents. Yeah, because you have to recognize you're both coming into this growing up in completely different households, and how people do things are so differently. And so then you decide how you want to be in your household. Like there's things that I love that your house did that my house didn't that I want to do, and vice versa. So like we are really having to cultivate our own home, and that also just like does take time. Somebody said I'm skipping some because we've like read them, but my husband and I have different expectations for when it's clean. Somebody said, as a single teacher, this sounds exhausting. I spend so much time teaching things they should have learned at home. I don't want to come home and have the same. I totally understand that. And what I say to that is that at this point, it's like if this is how the person is, like you are either going to have to train them or you'll just be miserable. Yeah. And that's why when you have kids, it is so important for how you raise them. Like you are very intentional about like, how, Tate having personal responsibility for things, and how like, okay, if you're going to clean the bathroom, you'll say, okay, come on, we're cleaning the bathroom. Or like, hey, this is all of our jobs. Like you do not just let like Tate think that like mom is going to handle everything.
Well, I mean, he'll ask us to do things for him that he can very easily do, even as a toddler. And we're like, hey, buddy, like we're all part of doing this. Like we're cleaning up your toys. Like you're gonna help clean up your toys. Right. Hey, go get your thing. No, you go get it. Right. Nobody, you can go get it. It's right over there. Like I'm not gonna do everything for you.
Yeah, I think that is just like really important when it comes like raising your kids now.
And it needs to be appropriate. Like we're not.
We're
asking him to do small things like you can walk across the room and go get the thing that you want to go get,
that you threw across
like
the
that
room
that type of stuff. But then as kids get older, like our plan is to continue to just add age appropriate things to that. Like,
and also I think it's important to note, because it's easy to be like, okay, well, mom cleans the toilet and dad takes the trash out. Like we'll say like, okay, in our home, like these are like mom will do a lot of the cleaning, but you also will say I clean too. Like it's not just mom's responsibility to do this. Like we live in this household. We're gonna clean the toilet right now, Tate. Like we live in this household. Like usually I take the trash out, but if there comes a time where I can't, like mom will take it out too. Like, which doesn't happen often, but it does. It did yesterday.
Hey!
But, like, I think it's
just
important.
Like I don't put trash bags back in the trash can. That's mom's job.
Apparently it's mom's job. But just, like, you make a point that, like, we are in this house together. So, like, we're all taking care of this house. It's not just, like, one person's responsibility.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mine said, I fully trained mine on the art of taking photos well so it can be done. That is so true.
Oh, man.
I love that so much.
What's so funny is, yeah, that's such a true thing. Like, I see it all the time. Even me, I have literally been paid money to take photos before.
Yeah.
And there's still, like, I'll show you a photo and you're like, no, do this.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is my job.
Right.
What are we talking about right now?
I know. I feel like this is a topic we could talk about for a long time, and if people have feedback and want us to dive into it more, we can. But I do feel like we need to close
for sure.
out the episode. It's an hour and 15 long.
So my last thing will be, you can look up the account Work Hard Dad Hard.
Oh.
And tag your husband in it.
Because you've posted so much.
And tag your husband in it. So that it's, that's my, just because that's my only thing that I can do to help the people that are listening to this, right? I'm not.
Well, no, you've helped a lot by being here. And
for sure. But that's the only other thing I can do is I do have this little account that occasionally I'll post thoughts on about how to be a better husband and a better dad. Yeah. So if you're trying to train your husband and you need someone else to help them think about it.
Yeah. He is posting his thoughts, and tell him to post more of them because he stopped posting. So you need to get back to posting more.
Hey.
But you've got a lot going on.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you for being here today. I had a great time recording with you. Yeah. I'm so hungry, so I'm about to go make my soup at 11 a.m.
Yep. I've got to go to work.
Can't wait. All right. Thanks so much for being here today. Thank you for hanging out with us today, friends, and we will talk soon.